I will quickly just run through what I've just said really quickly so we get it on the recording. So this month, the theme at the IAB is globalization and international finance. As businesses expand globally, finance professionals would need to have a deep understanding of international financial markets, cross-border transactions, foreign exchange management, and global regulatory frameworks. The New York Stock Exchange is the world's largest stock exchange, but the Tokyo Stock Exchange is actually almost 3 centuries old. It was founded in 1878. This is a testament to the long-standing importance of global finance. Now, cross-border mergers and acquisitions have seen a massive growth, with deals worth over $1 trillion annually. And as we all know, accountants play a crucial role in negotiating and managing these complex transactions, ensuring all financial aspects are sound. Now, just a little bit to do with COP27. So at COP27, it was declared that international reporting standards will soon be mandatory worldwide. With this mandate, companies are to report ESG data uniformly, aiding in distinguishing favorable from unfavorable practices and enabling stakeholders to more consciously engage with the organizations. In alignment with this industrial shift, the IAB has introduced the new IFRS International Reporting Standards Level 4 qualification, and it's experiencing high demand currently. So yeah, we're pretty proud of that. Cool. So I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to go straight into the first speaker. So today we're excited to announce that our first speaker will be Anish Mehta. Anish is the CPO at Apari Pro, the dedicated self-assessment tool designed to ease the January rush. Anish ensures that this software will address the pain points of self-assessment for accountants and bookkeepers, while also helping clients. Anish will be speaking about simplifying personal tax with AI, providing practical examples of how AI and software can help IAB members to save time and increase margins. His session will also explore the wider changes affecting personal tax and self-assessment, equipping you with valuable insights to navigate these developments effectively. Hi, Anish.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me on.
No worries. So if you need to share your screen, please feel free. I will also drop you a quick 15-minute time check when you reach 15 minutes as well.
Perfect. I would like to share my screen, but it's just disabled at the moment. So I wonder if you might be able to fix that for me, Sajay, and then I can get started. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I've got my coffee ready. I'm not going to be forgetting that fact about the Tokyo Stock Exchange now that I've heard it twice. So I feel I've already off to a good start. And so just as you kind of mentioned, today's session is really for IAB members in practice that are looking to take back your January. And by that, I mean sort of removing some of the paperwork and manual effort that comes with self-assessment clients and really looking to increase your margin. But it's not going to be a pure kind of look at our amazing software. I'd like to talk a little bit about the context of what's going on in personal tax more generally, and then see if we can bring that together, because there really are some sort of great technologies emerging. So I wanted to give a couple of practical examples of AI and see what you guys think. It's our first session with the IAB, so very excited to be here. But you know, your feedback, your views will help gauge whether we're talking about something that you're interested in or not. I'm still unable to share, Sajay.
Do you want to try it again? I did accept it when it came through.
I'm just getting host disabled participant screen sharing.
Let me.
So I'll keep going. So I just a little bit about me. So you know, my story, as Sajay mentioned, I am the head of product here at Apari. And that sort of means I'm responsible for making sure our software does all of the things that accountants, bookkeepers, your clients, what you need it to do. You know, I've worked in a few different places before this, the Treasury, HMRC, Office of Tax Simplification. So big kind of background in ways to kind of improve the administration of the tax system. I think I'm in a better place now at Apari rather than government doing some of those things, but that's the kind of the context I bring to this. Hopefully you can see my screen now, is that right?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
wonderful. And so this is us. simplifying income tax with AI. That's how you can find out a little bit more about us. But just to get into the context a little bit. So I think personal tax and self-assessment are growing in importance, if anything, at the moment. You've got more higher rate taxpayers than ever before, with the frozen tax thresholds, and we've already seen, even prior to that, the sort of huge underclaiming of tax relief on things like pension contributions and charitable donations. You've also got sort of investment income going up, bank interest, dividends, whilst tax-free thresholds or allowances are coming down. So more and more of that income from investments needing to be declared and taxed than in the recent past. And also, the interaction with the benefit system. So tax-free childcare or child benefit, and the different definitions of income that determine whether someone gets those things or not, all coming into play, which I think as a conclusion means actually more and more people can make decisions that sort of materially influence their tax liability or their financial position. And so I think big kind of piece like that in what's going on in personal tax. Also, you've got these sort of new HMRC data gathering powers that came into effect from January of this year. So, the data sharing by digital platforms is going to become more and more systematic. More trading income probably being declared for the first time by lots of people. So lots of people looking for help and support from people like yourselves on this call. I think as the sort of growth of second income, side hustles, however you want to call it, becomes more visible to HMRC. I'm not saying that people are deliberately evading at the moment, but I think we probably can all assume that there'll be more information coming through now. And then look, we've got a new government, and I think we should all expect some really sort of transformational changes in the administration and application of the personal tax system. So, this sort of in opposition, this Labour government was being advised by former head of HMRC, a former head of the Office of Tax Simplification, former head of the Government Digital Service. So we really probably should expect something major coming on these kinds of topics. Probably not in the King's speech today, but I'm sure in the coming weeks and months there'll be tax changes that all of us need to stay on top of. So if that's some of the context, from an Apari perspective, I'm quite happy about that. We've deliberately chosen to focus on personal tax and self-assessment. Founder is an accountant by background, portfolio landlord, and really saw this situation a few years ago where actually so much of what's happening in the world of finance is digital, but when it comes to tax, for lots and lots of people, the process of gathering data and using that data isn't really helping to make life easier for the client or for the tax professionals like you that help them. And so with MTD for income tax, saw a big opportunity. We've been sort of HMRC approved for MTD for a long time, the first product that was really approved. But actually, the bigger change that's coming along is this sort of AI-driven productivity revolution that I think is going to be coming in personal tax, and that's really where we're spending a lot of time as a business, and some of the things I wanted to talk to you about. We'll come on to that in just a second, but I think it's worth, if we take these kind of clients in personal tax, and I characterize them as sort of relatively high volume and low margin self-assessment clients. There's a few sort of challenges or things that I feel like, when speaking to lots of accountants and bookkeepers, seem to unify people. Firstly, this whole process of kind of gathering and submitting their information. January is still a massive peak for lots of people, 3 million tax returns submitted by agents every year. And so, probably for this type of client, the sole trader, CIS worker, landlord who might struggle to keep sort of good records, you might be still dealing with bits of paper or email attachments and spreadsheets for some, if not all, of your clients, and probably also doing lots of chasing for information that may already be held by HMRC or a bank or an investment platform. And actually all that time that goes on chasing clients to do the sort of the basic compliance means that it can't go on tax saving advice for people. And actually in our experience, and I'm quoting other people rather than purely my own view, the big name software providers tend to be a bit too over-engineered for this type of client. And that's why we haven't seen some of the the benefits. I think, secondly, I mentioned MTD earlier, but actually part of a wider situation around choosing technology. So actually, I was on a call with HMRC last week about MTD following a sort of a quiet period around the election. They're still waiting for a decision from ministers and a whole host of tax topics, MTD being one of them. And look, we've been waiting for some time for a decision on MTD to try and give some certainty. So hopefully that will come in the upcoming future. But they did mention a couple of interesting things. Consultants have been looking out for some changes to the way these kind of quarterly updates will work. The ability for multiple agents to act on behalf of one single client. Those are expected to come in April 2025. So a bit of a small mention of MTD. Maybe I sort of assume that people know about it, but maybe at a future session might be able to come back and share a bit more on that topic if it's of interest. And the final piece to mention is really this kind of like the legislation is always changing, rates and thresholds, but also, recent changes to things like cash basis or furnished holiday lets or class 2 national insurance in contributions. And I think it takes a lot of effort to stay on top of these things, especially when you've got larger numbers of clients in different situations. So our view at Apari is really that these type of clients, with the help of technology and things like AI, really should be creating opportunities for people like yourselves, rather than some of the headaches that we often hear about. And so at this point, I was going to try and attempt to play a video for you guys. So Sajay, maybe you can tell me if there's any issues with the sound. And this is really just to give you a picture of where we see the world going.
Welcome to Apari. AI is coming and it's transforming the accountancy industry. Now is the time to adopt AI or risk getting left behind. With Apari's latest breakthrough, produce tax returns in seconds. Renowned for innovation, the AI for tax self-assessment will elevate your efficiency and ROI. Meet Ania, your 24/7 co-pilot, ready to assist you and your clients around the clock.
Hi, I'm Anya. How can I help you today?
Hi, Anya. I need to remind my clients to complete their tax return information ready for review.
I'm about to send the following reminder to 74 of your clients which are not ready to review or submitted.
Ania creates the reminder and seeks confirmation of the content before sending. The information requested is personalized to each client. Ania assists your clients to populate their draft tax return, saving time by automating manual tasks while you concentrate on other work.
Could you provide your dividend income?
Of course. Where can I find that?
Your dividend income can usually be found within your broker's online account. You might have received a tax pack or similar end-of-year statement in your inbox. You can upload your documents below or tell me your figures individually. I identified the document as an Evelyn Partners tax pack. Please check the figures below and confirm to me when you are done.
Ania can validate your client's data.
What would happen if Paul sold his property for £300,000?
In order to run a simulation on UK property capital gains tax, I will need to know the purchase date and purchase price of your property.
He bought it in 2015 for £220,000.
The capital gains tax would be £16,218. For more details, please see the calculation as requested below.
Apari and Ania will help you to eliminate manual tasks and processing time, allowing you to focus on added value activities and client engagement. Firms who adopt AI are driving down costs and gain a significant competitive edge. Apari's AI software is endorsed by the leading Institute of Financial Accountants and already used by top accounting firms. Change is inevitable. Now is the time to experience the power of AI. Contact us today at innovation@apari-digital.com.
Always feels a bit odd to show a video during a session like this, but I thought it's a good chat. I thought the team would do a way better job than me than explaining what's going on. But really what we're trying to do, I guess, is bring out some of the capabilities that AI is going to be able to offer in this space around personal tax and self-assessment. So it might not be everything for everyone, but really where we see the impacts are coming around the sort of less effortful chasing of clients, sort of easier onboarding onto products and helping your clients to use software through the kind of co-pilot, through the AI, rather than you spending your time there, and really, you know, staying up to date with it with legislative changes. So that's the kind of the picture I wanted to give of where we're headed. But all of that builds on our kind of existing software and products. I wanted to just spend a couple of minutes talking about that. But maybe, Sajay, you could give me a warning of how I'm doing for time.
You've literally got 6 minutes.
6 minutes, wonderful. Okay, so if you think about that AI picture I presented, all of that sits on top of our existing software that's been, you know, in use by many people, accountants, bookkeepers, clients for some time. And the sort of the helicopter view of the software is this: you have a kind of accountant portal where you see a list of all your clients and manage them. You then go on to act for a client, which is where you can pull in data, prepare their tax return, and then finally you can submit that information to HMRC. Rather than kind of going through a sort of a demo now, I just wanted to try and bring that to life a little bit for people. So if you can still see my my screen, this is the sort of the accountant dashboard that I mentioned to you earlier. You can see all of your clients in one place, get a sense of whether you've done their tax return or not. And really, we're very focused on personal tax and self-assessment. So this is the information you're getting. It's very easy to search and find clients. The next area I wanted to show you was the sort of, you get some top level information about each client, but really when you want to act on their behalf, you're going into this area, which is exactly the same whether you, the agent, is looking at it or your client is. And what we're trying to give you and your client, the immediate sense of money in and money out for all of their businesses in one place. Data tends to get pulled in few main ways, sort of connecting bank accounts and sort of bank feed capability, importing spreadsheets or importing documents from other places. It would make it quite easy to allocate those transactions to the correct tax category, and then all of that information pulls into our tax return. So this is all connected to.
Anish, I'm really sorry. Just give me 2 seconds. I just need to mute and turn one of our members' cameras off. Okay, I'm gonna give you host again. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, you should be good to share again. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. So all of that information is pulling together into this sort of tax return area, and you then get a full breakdown of everything that's gone into the return, the sort of the tax calculation. You can send that to your client for approval, all those kinds of things. So I won't say too much more about that, but really, I guess to give you the picture of, this is a product that's really aimed at sort of bookkeeping and tax return preparations and submission for self-assessment. And then what's kind of coming soon is this sort of all of the automation capabilities that would make life easier. So I'm almost at an end. I've done many of these sessions, and I always get the feeling that you have no idea what's going on in people's heads as you're talking. But maybe you can bring something out in the questioning. But look, this is how to get hold of us here at Apari. If you think there's anything that we can do to help your practice to, I don't know, increase your margin on this type of clients, digitalize how you engage with them, future-proof the services that you offer, please feel free to get in touch with us via any of those methods on the screen now.
That's great. Thank you so much, Anish. Just a couple of questions for you, if that's all right. So Nikki Holland has asked if you'll be sending some information. So if you could, and we're happy to share that on as well, that'd be great, please. And
happy to. And then look, Nick, I'll definitely do that. But if you also if you want to get hold of us anytime before then, please do via any of those routes on the screen.
Yeah, perfect. And Nikki's also asked if it works with software. So Nikki, what I can do is get you in touch with Anish if you'd like after this, and you can ask those questions to Anish if that's helpful. And then just, yeah, people really like the software, to be honest. Really interesting. Lots of thanking you. And yeah, Nikki says thank you. So I'll get Nikki your contact details, Anish, and I'll pass that over if that's all right. And Sharon, again, really interesting. I've been looking into AI recently, so great to see examples of how it can help us. So yeah, no, Anish, that was really great. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry I had to stop your presentation partway through. But
Not to worry. I'm great. Yeah, I'm just following the chat a little bit myself. So it's great to hear that actually people I knew it, you know, people are doing their own investigations into AI and where it can help them. But I feel like there's this learning curve that we're all going to go through about where it can, like, you know, help us in different aspects of our lives. But I think from a kind of business practice perspective, we'll all be conscious of how do we, you know, make sure we're doing the right things for our clients. But actually, I think huge opportunities here. So I'll stop talking now, but thank you everyone for that feedback. And yeah, I'd love to pick up the conversation with those people.
That's great. Thank you. And you had literally 1 minute to spare. So no, really good. Thank you. Cool. So our second speaker. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, CJ. I think there's some people in the waiting room. I don't know if you can see on your had a few people late to start. Is there people waiting to come in?
None that I can see, but I've just clicked admit all, so it should.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I've let them in. If there's anyone waiting, it'll let them join.
Excellent. Thank you.
Perfect. Cool. So I want to welcome our second speaker, who I think is back. Sheila, if you're there, feel free to unmute yourself. So our second speaker is Sheila Chadha. Sheila actually won our IAB Business Innovation Award, and soon Sheila will also be one of our member benefits. So Sheila is the founder of the Credit Collections Company. It was established in September 2018, and after 25 years in the corporate world, Sheila decided that she needed to do something else and recognized there was a gap in the market. So Sheila created this company to assist business, particularly SMEs, with small debts and a lack of credit management understanding. Sheila's company offers a no-win, no-fee debt recovery service, which is a cost-effective solution for businesses of all sizes. And Sheila will be speaking to us about making credit management accessible, affordable, and helping businesses to improve cash flow, manage staff, and reduce bad debt. So Sheila, are you with us?
I'm here. Thank you, Sujay, for that wonderful introduction.
Sheila, I'm going to make you host if that's okay, so you're able to share your screen. And I will, like I did for Anish, give you a quick 15-minute notice when you're almost at the end of your time.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so as Sujay mentioned, my name is Sheila Chadha, and what do? We do credit management, credit control, and debt recovery. Now, as opposed to most things we hear about technology and AI, why did we win the Innovation in Business Award? In our world, I believe that, yes, there is a place for AI and technology because we embrace it. I love technology. But there's also, in our job, I think, one of the crucial factors that make us different, which is the human factor. We get on the phone, we talk to people, because there's one thing that AI can't mimic right now, and that's human emotion, especially when it comes to recovering money. I'm sure many of you have had situations where you're trying to recover money from a person or a business, and they're lying. How does AI pick that up? It can't, not yet anyway. I'm sure it'll catch up at some point, but I'll keep you posted when that happens. So today I thought I would talk about the credit management cycle and what does that entail. So I'm going to share my screen, bear with me. Okay, can everyone see can you see the credit management cycle there?
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so credit management is a broad area. And there's many different aspects of it, from billing to credit control itself, to debt recovery, and everything in between as well. Why is it important to avoid? The ultimate goal is to avoid that little circle that says debt recovery right in the sort of top, and at about 11 o'clock, if you look on the screen. It's important because we want to avoid bad debts. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes being owed money. But how do you prevent it? Now, if anyone says that you can minimize it and make it all vanish, I call that BS, okay? It can't. But what you can do as a business owner, or whether it's customers of yours, you can ensure that you give them the best advice possible to minimize it, okay? I mean, how do we do that? How do we make small business owners understand? So we use very, really innovative ways of explaining the difference, for example, between credit control and debt recovery. I've done a wonderful video, and I'm happy to share it afterwards, where we use a rolling pin and honey. A lot of people think that credit control is all about the soft aspects. Yes, it is to some degree. And everyone thinks that debt recovery is about getting the rolling pin out, but it's not. Sometimes you need to use, you have to be balanced. Sometimes you need to be a bit more heavy-handed with a credit control client. So for example, what do I mean by credit control? Credit control is customers that you are chasing daily on a daily basis. You've got an ongoing relationship with them and you want to make sure they pay your bills on time. Debt recovery is you've tried everything, you're not getting anywhere, and it needs to start talking more like legal language. You need to get a little bit more heavier. Does that necessarily mean that we get the heavy rolling pins out? No, it doesn't. It means that we negotiate with them, we talk to them, we understand what's going on. Because sometimes, like a lot of, I don't know if you've ever done it yourselves, but you can bury your head in the sand, and some people don't know how to communicate. That's where we come in. We take the softly approach and we escalate. It's very easy for people to come aggressively or really in a sort of tough manner and approach people. But I don't know if you've ever faced a situation where someone's come to you and talked to you aggressively. You will take a step back. And this is what makes us different. We treat people like human beings. Obviously, we can talk their language, whatever's needed. So let's go through some of this stuff. Why is it important? Now, this is going to be a little bit interactive. So Sujay, if you can help me out a little bit. I guess we use hands maybe. And okay, we're going to start with credit vetting because in my world, that's what I think where it all starts. If you get the credit vetting right, can anyone tell me why they think credit vetting is important?
Feel free to unmute yourselves, guys, if you know the answer. Or pop it in the chat and I can read out the answers from chat. Sheila, I think you might have to tell us.
Okay, no worries. Sorry,
Sarah did say it should be a part of client risk assessment.
That's right. Yes, it's about KYC, which many of you probably are all carrying out, on a daily basis. But it's also a bit more than that. You want to check who you're getting into a business relationship. If you take a client on, you want to know that they're able to pay your bill. There's no point in you giving lots of business out, doing tax returns and doing accounts for a business if they're not going to be able to pay you. As I say to a lot of my clients, you are not a charity, you are not a bank. So credit vetting is an important part of that process, but it's a small element of everything that we do to assess whether someone is a viable customer or not. Okay, so the next part is onboarding. Again, 7.2, roughly, this is approximate. Please don't take these as literal figures. These are approximate numbers of what we feel is a proportionate amount of time that you might spend on a business, but every industry will be different. Now, onboarding plays a significant part. Does anyone know why? Does anyone know why what can be a bad onboarding when you onboard a brand new customer?
From my point of view, I guess it's like if an accountant or someone is like refusing to give clearance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be something like that?
Yeah. So if you're onboarding, for example, if it's one customer, you might be okay. You might be able to pick up the phone. But if you're a large volume business and you're onboarding 50, 100 customers, getting the onboarding is right. Not just from a time perspective for yourselves, but also think about when you're chasing money. I'll give you a quick example here, because I'm only going to touch upon each of these really briefly in the 20 minutes that I have. Onboarding. If I, for example, get the name wrong, okay, what happens when it comes to chasing that client for money? It means that if your business name is ABC, but I put CDF, what's going to happen is when the credit controller or you as a business owner goes to chase your money, you're obviously not going to get that money because they're going to say, hang on, your invoice was incorrect. Now, if it's a small invoice, it may not impact your cash flow. But imagine if you've got 50, 100 invoices like that are incorrect. If you're a large volume, 5, 10 invoices that are incorrect, that affects your cash flow because it's a delay. Now, the delay might be only 5, 10 days, but imagine the impact it has. So if you get the onboarding process correct, like what is the name? Who should be invoiced to? Would you like your VAT number, for example? And obviously making sure that the invoice is correct. All of these aspects are important. Okay, so that's just like a brief example of what we would do as credit managers to ensure the onboarding process is correct. The next part is credit management. The credit management is about prevention, not the cure. It's very easy to go after someone, but it doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily be able to recover your debt. Credit management is a bit of KYC, onboarding. It's about ensuring your systems are correct, your cash allocations, how is your billing done. So credit management has got a bigger chunk of the pie here because it's an important aspect of anyone's business. It's all about, what do I do if this goes wrong? Or what is the next step if somebody doesn't pay, for example? Okay. The next element is billing. Can anyone tell me why billing is such a big important part of the process? Is someone trying to talk? Sorry, I can't hear.
Nothing. Jawad, would you be able to put yourself on mute, please?
Let me see if I can put the chat. Oh,
Is it,
if you don't bill, that's right, Sarah, as Sarah's mentioned. If you don't bill, how are you going to get paid? It's such an important part. But not just that, make sure you bill accurately. Break down the VAT, for example. You can actually get fined by HMRC if the invoice is not correct. So ensuring the details are correct are a huge aspect of getting your cash flow in and correct. Then the biggest slice of the pie, of course, is credit control. Credit control is important because a lot of people, you'd be surprised at how many people are afraid to pick up the phone. Would it surprise you guys, even though I specialize in this area and I've been doing this for over 25 or 30 years, I've lost count now, but I am afraid to sometimes pick up the phone and get a little bit tougher with my own customers. And do you know what I do? I get someone else on the team to do it. Sometimes removing yourself from a situation is important, but there's a process. It's important that you do your credit control. And as we know, we all have clients because we do credit control as well on behalf of our clients. A lot of people don't have the time, or they are afraid. I call it they're allergic to the phone, because some people are really terrified of picking up the phone and saying, hey, it's not a difficult conversation, but people just can't do it. That's fine. It is what it is, that's why you've got specialists like us. But if, for example, someone owes you £500, why is it, ask yourself, why is it you are afraid to ask for your own money? Yes, but a lot of people are, and it's quite normal. Like I said, I've had to get tough with some of my own customers. It can be a difficult situation sometimes. So the best thing is good cop, bad cop routine. Have someone, if you've got a good relationship and you're worried about your relationship with them, have someone else do it and say, look, my credit controller says, or my finance manager or my boss says, I can't do it. Remove yourself from that situation and say, so that you don't have to ruin that good relationship. And these are some of the things that we do, and we teach business owners as well. How am I doing on time?
You're good on time. You've got about 9 minutes.
Fantastic. Okay. Allocations. Can anyone tell me why I've put allocations on here? I think I've lost my chat box. I don't know where it's gone.
There's nothing in chat just yet.
Okay. Allocation is an important part of the credit management cycle. Why?
Kerry has put to ensure money they have paid relates to correct invoices. Again, payments against outstanding bills, misallocated payments cause chaos.
Chaos, that's right. Not just chaos, it damages your brand. I'll tell you why. Let's give an example of American Express. I'm not saying American Express a brand, disclaimer here. But if American Express or a bank suddenly started misallocating your funds and you paid every month on time, what would you think of the bank? You would start thinking, that's not a professional bank, would they? So like you got, you're a small SME, whatever size business you are, it's important to protect your brand. And if you're not allocating money on time, not only are you producing incorrect statements, customers lose faith in you. So hence why it's there. And then the final bit is the debt recovery. It's important that when you take everything into account, that you escalate. Now, a lot of people sit on debt and they either hope it will disappear or they just write it off. And I say, why write it off? Are you a charity? Do you have money? That money, for example, even if it's £1,000, we have no minimums for debt recovery in our business because we think that every debt is important to collect, or give it a try. We work on a no-win, no-fee basis, whether it's us or someone else, but don't write it off. I know you are accountants and bookkeepers, but why not give it to someone and give it a shot to try and recover that money? I'm not sure how I'm doing for time, but I'm happy to answer some questions if anyone has any.
You've got a few minutes.
Okay. If there's any questions, let me know. But one of the things that we do, for example, we white label services and we help small businesses to understand the differences and the importance of each aspect of credit management or credit control. We also do it in a fun way, like the honey and the lemon. The honey and the rolling pin scenario. We make it fun and engaging, but we also do it in a language that people can understand and relate to. Because at the end of the day, the reason I set the business up is because people don't understand jargon like risk debentures. If I start talking like that, some people might think, okay, what is Sheila talking about? So we talk in a friendly manner that people can relate to and understand. We don't have large jargon. We keep it simplified, and we ensure that people actually understand the differences of each aspect of the credit management cycle, of why they should pay attention to it. I'll give an example. So somebody said to me, I've known a business for 50 years. I go, and they go, well, what do you mean? I've known them. I trust them. It doesn't matter. When it comes to business, people need to understand that if your business is on the line, your friendships, your business relationships, doesn't matter how long it's been, you need to ensure that business is business. You need to ensure you have contracts in place, and you need to ensure that you're chasing adequately. Otherwise, it could be your business on the line, potentially your own personal, for example, your house on the line. Friendships don't come into it. You have to separate. And I've seen sadly, a lot of business owners who mistake friendships, and then they come to me with huge amounts of debt that we can't sadly help them with. Any questions? Oh, let me get the chat box up.
Yes, there are some questions in the chat box. If we want to start with Kelly, who says, would you chase just one outstanding debt, or would you need to be engaged on a package basis? What sort of fees do you charge?
So our fees start from as little as 10%. We have no minimum. And the reason being is because we believe that every customer should have a chance of recovering their debt. We know how difficult it is. If you were to have a £500 debt or £200, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 20,000. It's important to us. So there are no minimums. There are no, it can be just a one-off debt. It doesn't matter. And the fees are starting from as little as 10%. We try and keep it as competitive. The reason I'm able to offer this is because we have staff in the Philippines, and we also have specialists here in the UK. And that's what enables us to offer credit control and all our services at really competitive rates. We get really positive feedback, and we enable small business owners to thrive because of our low costs.
Perfect, thank you. Wendy has asked if you take on debt where it has gone to CCJ.
If it's gone to CCJ, you really need to get a bailiff involved, which unfortunately we don't do, but I'm happy to recommend someone.
Okay, Devin has asked, please can you send an update on how your services work and if the client will know that we are using a debt collector against them?
Yes, so if you are using a debt collection agency, obviously then you would tell them, so you can either give the notice or you can just hand the case over to us, and then we will introduce ourselves to them. If it's credit control, for example, we do credit control, a lot of our clients, because we white label, they actually don't know they've engaged us. So if we were to answer and your company name is ABC Limited, we will answer the phones and emails as ABC Limited. And so nobody ever knows that they've outsourced to us. And our staff in the Philippines are not outsourced. They work directly for me. It's my company. And we're here to help small business owners to grow.
Great, thank you. I think everything else has been answered, and as Sam has put, as soon as you are onboarded as a member benefit, all the details will be on the website, so you will be able to find details there.
Fantastic. Shall I share my LinkedIn details if anyone wants to connect?
Oh, sure, yes. Please do pop it in the chat, Sheila. Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you, everyone.
Great. I'm going to reclaim host if that's okay, but thank you so much for coming on today. And with that, I am going to pass on to Kerry with some HMRC updates. Kerry.
Hello, hi. So last month, everything with HMRC went on hold because of the election. Now the election has happened, we're just still waiting with bated breath for the updates, which I know Anish already touched on earlier about sort of MTD discussions have started back up. I'm on a meeting myself next week on that particular forum as well, so we'll have a little bit more to share about that. We have had an employer's bulletin that has come out since last week. So I don't know whether I can share that, Sujay.
Yeah, you should be able to. If not, let me know and I'll make you host, Kerry.
Yes. We're all becoming hosts today. So, no.
Nope. Okay, give me 1 second. There you go. You should be able to do it now, Kerry.
Okay, and then while I'm talking about that, I know that last month's meeting, there was a lot of chat that we probably didn't have a lot of time to go through about the MTD updates for ITSA, for the income tax and for benefits, payrolling of benefits. So I thought we could also use this as a bit of an open forum. If there's any questions or concerns, if anyone puts them on the chat, we can just have a bit of a Q&A around some of that stuff as well. So feel free to do that. Okay, so the latest employer bulletin was literally issued on the 10th of July. You may have had a link in your inbox already to this. I just thought I'd just run through some of the key updates on this for you. One of the main things that's been launched is about tax calculation repayments for PAYE customers. So what has happened up until now is HMRC will get in touch with anyone that's a PAYE employee, may have changed jobs throughout the year, for instance, and if they've got any tax due to them, they would get a letter and then get a cheque sent to them. Now, HMRC are trying to move away from sending the cheques and make online payments now for customers, and there is a new website as such that they will be invited to click into for tax overpayments and underpayments. They can request a cheque through that process if preferred, but there is a way through open banking that they can put their bank details in to here and therefore speed up their repayment. I've had one customer already get in touch with me to say that they thought they'd had some junk email about this because of course they're very concerned about getting money, and if HMRC, you know, we've all had the you're entitled to a tax refund, what's your bank details, but this is actually true and it is something HMRC are piloting. So maybe just take a little bit of time to look at it yourself, and then at least you would be best to advise your client whether it is actually true or not. So yeah, that's the PAYE one. If anyone does any PAYE settlement agreements for their clients, then it's just updating about the deadlines and how to submit. You've also got some more, there's been a lot of compliance discussion about football agents and any sort of football clubs, agents, players, coaching, about the tax position. So if anyone's got any clients in that sector, then there's some updates within that. A little bit more IR35 updates as well. So I'm just going to give this high level because it may or may not apply to you, but just so you know that there are some updates about this stuff. Payroll giving as well. This is becoming popular where employers can offer almost like a salary sacrifice scheme to pay directly to charity. So again, it's just a little bit more about how you can set that up as a employee benefit as such. There are also in the marketplace various companies that allow staff to have salary advances. So it's companies that say you can have a bit of your salary before your payday. These have become formalised as such. So there's been a lot of legislation updates regarding this, and if someone has had a salary advance, when HMRC should be notified that they've had that money. It has now been decided that the RTI, so the actual submission of payroll, is still at the point that the main salary gets paid, even if they've had 2 or 3 salary advances throughout the month. rather than just submitting every time someone's had a salary advance. So again, just a little bit of update about that. And that legislation is taking effect now from the 6th of April. Any P11D should have been submitted by now, but just a little reminder, if you've still got some outstanding, please submit without delay, as penalties can start arising, and all clients have to pay their P11D, so their Class 1A National Insurance, by the 22nd of July, and make sure that the reference number that they use is correct. So it explains here what they have to do, but to make sure it's got the year of 24 and 13 to confirm that that is to pay last year's benefits, so like the 13th month, because allocations and misallocations cause all kinds of problems with HMRC. Payment goes into the wrong year, they then get interest for non-payment, so that's fundamental. Okay, a little bit more improvement as well on the online services for time to pay arrangements. So there's just a summary on here, so take some time to have a look through about how clients can set that up. 23-24 tax year self-assessment threshold for customers through PAYE only have to do a tax return if their income is over 150,000, whereas it's been 100,000 till now. If that's providing it's purely PAYE, anyone that still has any kind of other untaxed income has to declare the higher benefit charge, or if they've also got self-employed income, still tax return as normal. They're removing the threshold from 24 to 25, so anyone that's PAYE only, there will be no requirement at all for a tax return after next year. A little bit more about umbrella companies, which I know we've had a speaker on about that before here, and basis period reform for self-employed. I know someone touched on that last month, but it's just really giving you an insight, and they've produced this video which is on YouTube on the HMRC channel, but also then embedded within here as to how to actually navigate your way through that basis period reform. And yeah, that's pretty much this month's update. So just some key points that may be of benefit to you there. Any questions on that part?
Just one for you, please, Kerry. Jan has said, I assume if a client pays PRE by direct debit, then the P11D tax will be picked up automatically.
I actually don't know that, because of the direct debit for PAYE is quite recent, and it always takes what's due at the next PAYE date. In effect, you're paying this tax retrospectively, so direct debit won't pick up any old debt on your PAYE account. So I actually don't know the answer to that. I would assume not. However, it probably be worth just checking with HMRC, and that's a really good question, because I don't think it will. I think it's only to do with what's due in the future, not paying back retrospectively.
Karen Hollis did say it didn't pick it up for my client.
Right. So yeah, that's a really good point actually. So thank you, Jan, for that.
Yeah, Sarah also said it did not pick it up for my client.
Yeah.
I don't think it picks it up, no.
Yeah, it doesn't pick up old interest or any old debt on the PAYE account, and because of this is being paid as a manual retrospective payment, I think you do need to make that payment manually.
Perfect. Thank you. I think that's all the questions for Kerry. If anyone does have any more, please do feel free to pop them in the chat. But for the last few minutes, I'm going to pass over to Sam with some IAB updates.
Thanks, CJ. So just a few things to make everyone aware of. Probably by the end of today or first thing tomorrow morning, we're going to be sharing some details with you about an AML summer school. So for those, or for anybody really that requires AML supervision, this is a great opportunity to get exposed to a range of different client topics and information, and access to a range of different industry experts on the subject of AML. So The AML Summer School is from the 30th of July to the 27th of August. It's a 4-week school, but the sessions are on a Tuesday and it's all virtual. If you register for a session, you'll also get the recording as well. So on the first day, on the 30th of July, Jodie, who is our head of UK compliance, is going to be sitting on a panel with other professional body leads in this space as well. So there'll be somebody from the IAB present on that first day. But it's really just to make you aware that it's a great opportunity to access free content on AML. And just look, watch this space for that email. I know there's a lot of emails going around. We'll also put it out across social as well, so you can have a number of times to access it. Also on the subject of emails, the last coffee morning, we had Phil on from Croner-i. So as many of you are aware, Croner-i is one of our lead member benefits. We did send a soulless email about all the benefits of Croner-i. So really all the areas that Phil touched on in the last coffee morning, because there was quite a lot of chat and engagement going on during the session. And I know that, everyone is very, very busy, and the opportunity was there for you to register details and basically get a showcase around what's on offer to you free of charge. But also if you had any other questions about that particular platform. Now, we haven't had a huge amount of engagement on that, so it could be that everybody is more than happy with what they have and they know how to use it. But it's just to let you know that, and just to reinforce the main benefits of that, is that, free of charge, you get one CPD course a month. So that really, does your CPD for that month. So it's a free of charge benefit there. You get the tax helpline, and also there's a variety of other information services as well. So it was really just to highlight, to make sure everyone's getting the best value out of that benefit. And there is the opportunity there to get a showcase around what is on offer. So if you do need any more details on that, then please do let us know. But we're just going to be promoting it just to make sure everyone's aware of what's on offer. And that's it from me, actually, unless anyone has any questions.
Nothing in the chat, just Croner is good for onboarding too from Cali. So thank you for that.
Yes, just to let you know, everybody, if there is any reservations from the onboarding directly with Croner-i, we have been working with them very, very closely. I know that some people have had, experiences in the past that haven't been too great from a bit of a pushy sales perspective, but, that has been really, really hammered home to them. And that is not the objective of those calls. The objective is to ensure that you are fully up to date with what is on offer and what is part of your membership. So please don't let that put you off. Or someone says that's put them off. So hopefully, Tanya, if you try again, then you should have a different experience.
Yeah, perfect. We do copy the chat, so anything that we need to follow up, we'll follow up with. But I just want to, again, thank you so much to all of our wonderful speakers. Thank you to Sam, thank you to Kerry, and thank you all for being a part of this. So yeah, thanks everyone. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, everyone. Lovely to see so many of you.
Thanks,
Have a good
guys.
day.
Bye.